Good morning, Year 6. Today's assembly is going to be all about foreign currencies. So, to kick us off, I've actually got a little bit of foreign currency lying around my house. This is $1 US, which is the currency they use in the United States of America. We've also got 1 cent coin here, not worth a lot. And I've also got euros, which is the currency they use in the European Union or the EU. I've got a 10-cent coin here, and I've got a 5-cent coin here. So you might or may not have some foreign currency in your house too, and you can look it up and see how much it's worth in pounds if you Google it. But let me tell you a bit more about currency and you'll find out how to do that. So you may have come across foreign currencies either whilst traveling abroad, or you will have definitely come across foreign currencies when we studied the book Kick last term. So in Kick, which was set in Indonesia, you may remember we came across the currency, the rupiah, the Indonesian rupiah. So here I've got a picture of what Indonesia looks like. I've also got a picture of a 100,000 rupiah note. I looked up on Google how much that was worth in pounds. So 100,000 Indonesian rupiah is worth £5.28. And that tells us a little bit about how different currencies have different values. We'll find out more about that now. So, first of all, what is currency? Currency is a unit of exchange facilitating the transfer of goods and services. Facilitating just means helps. I've got a picture here of lots of different types of currencies from different countries, and they all have different values, and the value of currency changes all the time. Currency is the official money of a country. It consists of paper money and coins, just like I showed you here a minute ago. Each country has its own form of currency, which is overseen by the central bank of that country. So every country has its own main central bank that manages the supply and the printing of that money. Each country will have lots and lots of different commercial retail banks like HSBC, NatWest, Barclays, but each country will only have one central bank managing that currency. Currency trade. Currency zone is a country or region in which a specific currency is the dominant medium of exchange. And to facilitate trade between currency zones, there are exchange rates. Exchange rates are the prices at which currencies can be exchanged against each other. Like we saw in that first slide, 100,000 rupiah equals about £5. And you can trade and exchange those currencies against each other. Sometimes countries use the same name for their currencies as other countries. Other times, the name of one country's currency is unique. So there are a few countries that use the name dollar for their currency, for example, Australia, New Zealand, America. And then there's other countries that have one name for their currency, which no other country has. If you were going to travel abroad and you needed to have some of that currency of the country you're traveling to, say if you're going to Indonesia, before you went, you would either go to a bank or a currency exchange shop and give them however many pounds you want worth in the other currency, and then they'd give you back the rupiah. So let's look at the dollar. The dollar is represented by this S sign with either 1 or 2 lines down the middle like that. So the dollar is a currency that is used in many countries. First introduced in 1792 in the United States. Canada adopted it in 1858, Australia in 1966, and most recently in New Zealand in 1967. So they all have different types of dollars for their currency. Other countries include Fiji, Samoa, El Salvador, Ecuador, and Jamaica. They also all use a dollar as their own currency. The euro. So the euro is represented by this C symbol with two lines drawn between it. The euro is the official currency of the European Union, otherwise known as the EU. You might have heard about it a lot in the news recently, or Brexit, which is the exit of Britain from the European Union, which happened only 5 days ago. On the 1st of January, officially, Britain exited the European Union. So the EU is made up of was made up of 28 countries, and since the 1st of January, it's now made up of 27 countries without Britain. You see on the map here, all the blue countries are part of the European Union, the EU, and we see this. So this is the UK with the Union Jack on it. That is now no longer part of the European Union. Most of these countries, most of the blue countries, adopted the euro as their form of currency once they became members of the EU, except for the UK and Denmark. They kept their own currencies, but while they were part of the European Union. You see that the flag of the EU is this blue with the yellow stars. Each star represents each country in the EU. And they all use the euro as their currency. So they all trade goods and services between them, and they use this currency. So moving on, here is a list of some other currencies that are used in other countries. So we know Indonesia uses the rupiah. India and Pakistan use their own currencies called the rupee. They're both different ones, but they sound similar to the rupiah. Iran uses the rial, Israel the shekel, Japan the yen, and you can look at this in your own time. We know the UK uses the pound sterling. Sterling is just another name for it, or GBP you might see as well as just another, stands for Great Britain, Great British Pound. It's just another abbreviation for pound. And all of these currencies carry different values, and the value changes all the time depending on what is happening in that country, with its economy, with the politics in that country. If that country is going through a war, the value of the currency will fall, or if they're going through something very good for their economy, the value of their currency will rise. Exchange rates. You might have heard this phrase before. What is an exchange rate? So this table here represents it quite easily. We see that the British pound here, £1 is worth 1.3 US dollars. So £1 is equivalent to 1.3 US dollars. So we see that the pound is stronger. If you were to go to a bank and give them £1 and you wanted to exchange it for a US dollar, you would get $1.3 back. But let's look at a different currency. So £1 is also equivalent to 99 Indian rupees. Interesting. And finally, let's pick another. £1 is equal to 8.7 Chinese yuan renminbi. Interesting. This screenshot I took yesterday, so it's pretty accurate, but these numbers will have changed a little bit today, and they change every day. They're all going up and down. They're fluctuating. And here is a graph to show you how an exchange rate fluctuates. So repeat after me. Fluctuates. Fluctuates just means goes up and down, as we see in this graph, which shows us the exchange rate between the euro and the pound since 1999. So it's gone up and down. It's fluctuated up and down. Exchange rates move up and down all the time. So next, have a few questions to try and embed our understanding of exchange rates. It will all make more sense once we've gone through these questions. So, $1 currently equals 0.74 pounds. That's 74p. Let me repeat that again. $1 equals 74p. And that was taken today. That's very current, but it will change tomorrow. Sometimes it changes quickly and sometimes and suddenly, and sometimes it doesn't change very much. Just depends on what's happening in the world. If I was going on holiday to New York, that'd be nice, not going to happen anytime soon, and I had $100, how much would that be worth in pounds? I'll pause this video for a second to reread the question and think about it. Use a pen and paper if you would like, or you can do it in your head. If I was going on holiday to New York and I had $100, how much would that be worth in pounds? Well, I know that to get from $1 to $100, I multiply 1 by 100. So I would do the same thing to my pounds, just like in fractions. 0.74 times 100 equals 74 pounds. Therefore, $100 would equal 74 pounds. Let's try this with another question in a different currency. So let's travel to Europe. €1 equals 90p as of this morning. If I was going on holiday to Berlin, the capital of Germany, and I wanted to buy a Haribo gummy bear box for €2, how much would that be worth in pounds? Pause this video for a second, reread the question, reread the exchange rate, think about it, use a pen and paper, and we can read the question again. €1 equals 90p currently. If I was going on holiday to Berlin, I wanted to buy a Haribo gummy bear box for €2, how much would that be worth in pounds? Well, €1 times 2 gives us €2. So we do the same thing to our pounds, just like in fractions. 90p times 2 gives us £1.80. And there is our answer. I hope you've learned a little bit more about foreign exchange rates. When we go back to school, I'll bring in my foreign currency and you can have a look at it in person. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.